the garage today. Got 717-400 on the bench, drive shaft, and all the associated steps down here. All the linkages and stuff. And then the 300 TD wagon here, 84 and a half. So it actually doesn't have a machined input shaft bearing. Yeah. Reverse is on, reverse and overdrive are in the very back of this box. Reverse and overdrive are in the very back of this box. So that's interesting. I'm going to start by pulling off the yoke. Do need to drain this also. And I am like well overdue for a haircut. I'm sure that as soon as I post this and pull this apart, somebody's gonna have an awesome link full of documentation on how to service this transmission, because that's how this works. So yeah. Whoever posts that information after I've done this, you're welcome for me taking the obligatory step of raw dogging this, and then somebody posting all the information I wish I had. Synthetic ATF on this before. Trying in the car when it makes that whirring noise. So I'll probably pull a snapshot from that video. I actually didn't take any video of this running, because someone else on YouTube already posted a great demonstration. Little bits of brass in there, but it's not like there aren't any Milky Ways or anything in it. I don't like if there's any water in it. The shifts were good, no grinding between gears, so I think the synchros are fine. I really think the issue is probably just the input shaft bearing, but we're going to go ahead and tear it all the way down. Wifey really likes how this rides on the highway. There it is. Where's the other one? Okay, I think we've got clearance for all these. The output shaft lock nut thing on Bob comes off with a 30 millimeter 12 point. I don't know if that's the correct size, but it's got enough engagement. So all this transmission foolery has also been accompanied by a lot of laser scanning. And the kind of goal is to maybe look at doing a T5 swap in these cars, so scanning the tunnel, like getting an idea of where the clutch discs sit, the adapter plate to OM617, just like really being pretty thorough about how this thing comes apart. Now there's some bolts here that I suspect are pinch for like shift shafts. You can see that. Some spring-loaded doodads. That came out. And another spring. It doesn't want. Plunger rather. Oh, that's the spring index for this shift rod. Makes sense. So that's the D10 spring and pin for that guy. Uses these wave seals. This is a 4065 by 8, and these wave seals. Didn't really have any plan to reuse this, but I really was hoping to knock it out. I haven't looked at, haven't gotten any of this stuff apart yet, so I haven't done any pre-work. I guess we can try going in through the front, see if we get any tips or tricks that way. Less or comparable to what I've got on the 4 speeds I've got. So there is a single shim here for this, and a single shim here on this guy. Since these are helical transmissions, the shimming matters. Making sure we don't have any other. We'll get another shim. 2 shims. Yeah, and that's the bearing. Okay. Cover bolts off. Tens of those. Inside of that came right off. I get the feeling these are put together with anaerobic sealant. I'm kind of wondering if they're glued together. Part of me just wants to hit them harder. Give it a shot with the air hammer. Starting to get it. A little bit of an air gap anyway. It really feels like it's just this speedo drive gear. So I guess I'm just going to continue. Okay. That's fucking great. I think this was holding it on the whole time. think these are the multi-part bearings that everyone loves to bitch about. This is what the two-piece bearings look like. And then inside this cage is this doodad. Fan-fucking-tastic. There's shims everywhere up in this bitch. I don't think these... and somebody in the comments will be like, no, it's going to be ruined if you use generic bearings. 3098.65. Alright, here's the plan. So, there's a snap ring that came off of here, and this is a needle roller, and the inner diameter of the needle roller is the part itself, and it is, you can see that down there, it is free floating in the bottom, so that's not retaining it. It's just that half of the pressed shaft there that's retaining it. Cheat code activated. We are not going to be making special tools. Oopsie. There is a bearing underneath this shim. Or a C-clip underneath this shim. So here's the order. Cupped spacer out front. Snap ring inside of that. Snap ring inside of that. And then another spacer. Under that. Now let's see if it'll come apart. Well, shit, boys and girls, there are Allens back here. Doesn't look like anything's cracked though. It's front bearing off. You can see what it looks like. Because I'm hoping that's where the noise is coming from. There it comes. Look at that. This bearing has a, you can see that it's got a proud surface. Focus. Reset your focus. Got a proud surface on the bearing. And it's because there's a anti-rotate feature there on the inner race. Let's get back here so you can see it. So yeah, anti-rotate feature. It is proud, and there's an anti-rotate feature. The other side is flush, like a normal bearing. So maybe we can get away with some shims and some regular contact ball bearings, but yeah. Here it is. Hope it goes back together. Okay, bye. Alright, so small addendum. Turns out these here are actually called 4-point bearings because they have 4 points of contact. They're basically basically angular contact bearings, but they've got a split radius. So the input shaft has a custom inner race half. That's that one I was showing you that had the proud feature. So that's going to be addressed. But while these special bearings are no longer available, it does appear that the output shaft is a direct replacement, except for these anti-rotate features that I talked about on the inner race inside. The shafts are pinned, so I don't know why the output shaft is pinned because it's clamped. The input shaft is not clamped, it's just retained with a clip, so I see the purpose on that, but the anti-rotate feature is only on the proud side of this bearing, so not really sure what the deal is, but the bearings are still available. Seeing the split design really makes me think it was the back race of the input shaft bearing, because it only did it when it was under load. I feel like if you wanted to be cheap about this, you could, well, it wouldn't really work because the stupid anti-rotate feature on the inner race, but then that's kind of dumb because the front, so this is the side against, goes into the transmission, and this is the side against the clutch. So there's nothing actually keeping this one from rotating. So I don't really understand the focus of Mercedes to have all these anti-rotate features on these bearings when the front inner race was just free to hang out against a snap ring with no load, and like there weren't wave washers or anything in there. So yeah, your guess is as good as mine, but there you go, the infamous 3-part bearings. Sorry, they're not 2-part bearing, guys. If they were like they're called like gyroscope bearings or something like that. They're actually 2 parts, like a single-sided angular contact bearing. I would classify those as 2 parts, but these are actually 3-part bearings, and they are discontinued. Well, the modified ones are drop-in replacements for Getrag. So we will be getting the standard off-the-shelf equivalents and figuring out how to make them work. So stay tuned for part 2, and hopefully there's only a part 2. And then this thing goes the fuck back together.